Hey guys, Slater Magic here, and I just wanted to share with you a couple deck ideas. I don't quite have a deck together yet. Pretty darn close though. But I have some ideas. And I figured, well, if you guys watch this channel, you're probably into deck building, you're probably pretty good at it. So I thought I'd run these by you just in case you're like, yes, that is the idea I'm going to run with. Oh, and I have to warn you before I begin, there's no way I'm going to go get 100 cards and throw them up on screen exactly on time for less than 2 seconds, and then you'll just have to pause the video. So, I mean, a lot of these cards are ancient. You should honestly know what they do at this point. But if you don't, just look them up yourself, because this would seriously take 6 hours to edit, and I just don't have the time. Busy opening and losing money on Amonkhet. Now first, the easy one. I have been winning FNM back to back with combat specialists. That deck is insane. It is absolutely stupidly overpowered. Guess what? It just got better. Go to the deck list, drop, God, I keep calling her Kristen Stewart. You guys know I nickname the cards and then I forget what the hell they're actually called. I believe it's Serene Stewart, but honestly, I mean, look at the art. It's Kristen Stewart. Drop her, put in the Exert 4/4 lifelink guy that costs 2, and that's it. Wow, what a brave new innovative deck. Now, if you did want to go with what I'd call all-in Exert mono white, it's pretty damn good. You could just throw in whatever white creatures you want, but I would go heavy flying, heavy life gain, heavy first strike, just all these combat capabilities, just like my deck. I'd go for Gisela if you got the cash. Honestly, she's like $6-7 at this point, so why the hell not? And then the Flying Dwarf guy with Lifelink and Vigilance, because, yeah, always watching, definitely. Yeah, I know it's $5 a copy, whatever. Hopefully you have some by now. If you don't, I warned you in like 2 videos to buy it. It was going to go up, so, yeah. Then just start throwing in Exerters, like the guy that has Exert Resurrect something from the graveyard. That's pretty nice. And then Exert 4/4 Lifelink. That guy's pretty nice. There's a couple others, too. If you really want, you can put in Embalm on a couple really good white creatures, but I'm not sure any are particularly worth it. There are some good ETB ones on the higher end of the mana, but there's absolutely no ramp in white, so that might be a little rough. But, just creatures is not necessarily going to win, and you'll start losing them one at a time if they bring out like a 7/7, we'll say. So if you don't want to get absolutely shut down, you're going to need, I think Make a Stand is still legal. That's +1 and indestructible across the board. And then you just need combat tricks. Immolating Glare, destroy attacking or blocking creature. Blessed Alliance, they sacrifice attacking creature. Stuff like that. And honestly, Make a Stand is basically, the same thing. It's an ambush. You just want to swing and swing and swing and swing and swing, and oh look, they're all flying. Hey, what's up? Oh look, I exerted them, and by the way, half my deck gains life. Oh, and then when you think you got me, oh, they're all indestructible. So, Selfless Spirit, flying and grants indestructible. So basically just mix Exert with my current combat specialist deck and just ditch the removal. Go 100% all in. I'm swinging every turn. Every turn's a trick. Every block's a trick. Every time you swing at me, it's a trick. It's a fun deck, trust me. It is really fun and really easy to run. Another one, you guys remember my Eldrazi deck? That had mixed results. I don't usually build Glass Cannon combo decks, but that really honestly had one win condition, and it was to resurrect an Eldrazi out of the graveyard. Now, we did lose Emrakul, and we did lose the Origins card that resurrects them. I think it was like Necromantic Summonings or the other one. But the backup plan for that deck always was Soul Separator. It doesn't truly create the actual creature, but if you had a 10/10 in the graveyard, it creates like a 10/10, I don't know, zombie or spirit or something like that. It's secondary resurrection. You can still have 8 resurrect cards, and honestly, I think there's something in Amonkhet too, so you might be able to get up to 12. I mean, anything that drops something straight out of the graveyard into the battlefield without asking questions is kind of broken, and yeah, well, there you go. The rest, stall, self-mill. Simple. I mean, we're talking stall. So it could be blue-black, or you could probably hold them off with just black. 2/3 Death Touch Lifelinker, Aetherborn. Why not? There's a couple other cheap Death Touchers that'll really hold them off. You got kill spells, run Murder, run Ruinous Path, run the new Planeswalker Killer. And then you really would have to self-mill, so actually, yeah, you probably would need blue, but you might be able to pull it off without blue. There is just so much, hey, ditch something into the graveyard. Or hey, certain player puts 2 into the graveyard, or 3, or when this creature enters the battlefield, put 2 in the graveyard, or when it leaves the battlefield, I mean, there's like 30 or 40 options. They're all from Shadow's block, and they're all meant to feed Delirium. But really, you're just trying to toss a giant Eldrazi or a giant creature into the graveyard. The other way to do it would be black, improvise, servo dump, decoy, because that's the decoy, not the win condition. And then you got some big honkin' improvised spells like the Flying Demons and all that crap. And then basically you got your Metalwork Colossus because you've got, you know, all kinds of artifacts on the field. Not servos, though. That's just the side effect, because servos and improvise go together. So black colorless artifact mix with Metalwork as a free cast option because his cost is reduced by the converted mana cost of non-creature artifacts on the field. So just throw out all the, you know, the filter and the other one and the like skeleton key, just like whatever. Equipment, I mean, it doesn't even matter. Just like throw out whatever the hell you want and then make it an improvised deck. Use the strongest improvisers, control to hold them off, and then also put resurrectors and a little bit of self-mill if you can. It wouldn't even be self-mill, it would almost be like, oh, when this happens, discard a card. And then you just rely 100% on discarding the Eldrazi Titan-sized creature into the graveyard. And it wouldn't even have to be Ulamog. I mean, you could directly resurrect like Bane of Balagad or Ulamog, or you could just get something big. And then also, if you can't get the artifacts out or they keep blowing them up, then you could just take Metalcraft Colossus, or whatever his name is, Metalwork, throw him into the graveyard, and then resurrect him for free again. So I think that deck would really work. It's pretty cool. I mean, like, 1 or 2 kill spells and you're in trouble. But other than that, it's a fun deck. I liked it. The problem with going artifact heavy is there's the red artifact sweeper. You've got now, I think, a second card in black or something like that that can nuke everything that you don't own. -1/-1 or something like that. So servos are out. Artifacts, oh my god. They can handpick artifacts out of your deck now with that Dispossess. And then if you were to just go like white-black all flyers or white-red all flyers, literally all flyers with just like indestructible spells or something, or mass hexproof, which is honestly in green. Sorry, but everyone and their grandma is going to be running the new Windstorm called Heaven, and you're in trouble. So unfortunately, the old trick of, oh, in the first week after the set's released, I'm going all flyers, ha ha ha. There's very little reach right now. There's very little flying. So if you went all flyers, it would work, but every time somebody pulls out a Windstorm, you're just dead. The question is, can you kill them before then, or can you come back from it? If your flyers are white, quite a bit of them have lifelink, so probably. Also, Selfless Spirit. So you could go white-green protection, you know, indestructible, hexproof, all that, with all flyers. That'd be kind of cool. Green doesn't have many flyers, though, because of that. Now, there is the classic mono-blue stall and wall, turtle and steamroll. That term, of course, comes from real-time strategy games where you just build base defenses, build up, build up, build up, nobody can attack you, and then just unleash the most unbelievable swarm of units or gigantic single units, and they just can't stop you. I would just go anticipate, contingency plan, glimmer, you know, passive draw, real energy heavy, counter just about everything, and just throw walls out there, just anything. I mean, I think there's like colorless defenders that are pretty good, actually. Actually, yeah, I think in Kaladesh there's like an 0-4 reach wall or something. It's pretty good. So that would be just like bounce stuff back to hand, mass bounce, you know, attack deterrence, and then like 24 lands, and then just you choose the bomb. It could be a low-cost, mid-cost Eldrazi, like in the 7 range, like Bane. It could be one of the lesser Eldrazi's that cost like 8. Or you could drop out Garrulf's Masterpiece. That's a classic. There's a couple others. There's some really good big creatures in just mono blue, and then colorless also. So the old wall stall and steamroll, pretty cool. Especially now there's like some sphinxes and stuff that looked kind of cool. So not the greatest deck in the world, but it is effective. I mean, you will absolutely shut down your opponents. It's not a very polite deck, but if you're into blue, it's very blue. Now, these next ones, they're classics. They're going to sound awfully familiar because, well, this is like the 4th and 5th version of them. This one I'm actually almost done with myself, except I'm mixing the two together and I probably shouldn't. I need to dump a concept. But if you want the green Eldrazi Summon Rush that's covered by landfall, so look up, honestly, Crypto Bomb 2.0 and Superland Jr., and like everything from that era. I mean, I made a playlist called Decks. There's only like 20 decks in it, I'm sure. I bet you could find it. So you got your From Beyond, that goes and fetches them. You run 1 Void, 1 Ulamog, 1 Kozilek if you want, 1 Bane. You know, you have like 4 or 5 Eldrazi, and the only way you get them is from fetching. You run Conduit because Conduit fetches them and lowers the price. Then you run, you know, your Deathcap Cultivators, you know, your other Mana Dorks, whatever. You could use the new one that costs 2 and it's a 3/4, comes out with 3 negative counters. That one's kind of cool. And then, you know, Jaddy, sit there with an 0/3 and gain life on landfall. And then you just dump lands onto the field. Your landfall effects keep you alive. You run Undergrowth Champion, landfall, live forever. He's basically indestructible. And then you run the new Harvest Season. If you want, you could put Cryptolith right in there too, and then use Scion Generation, so your Scions can tap for mana, then sack for mana. It's the fastest damn deck. It brings out Eldrazi. It's a classic. I won so many FNMs with it. And now, just because of Harvest Season, it is absolutely worth it. Plus, you could put like Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, or that other Nissa in there. They're both perfect for the deck. Now, I'm building like the one step up from this. It's so bad. I don't even know what to call it. I was going to call it Hydra because you never know which head is going to kill you. Also, there's a Hydra in the deck. I think I called it Green Super Draw for now because I'm boring. It's basically Soul of the Harvest. Whenever you, or whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. And then Lifecrafter's Bestiary. Whenever you cast a creature spell, pay 1, draw a card. Also Cryptolith Right, also Harvest Season, also Landfall, Filigree Familiar as a staller, by the way, very good staller, Undergrowth Champion, Landfall, and then it also has Eldrazi Summoning. Oh, and Oran Reef Hydra Landfall, plus Mana Dorks. So, I mean, this deck it's absurd. It even has Scion Generation. It just does everything. The problem is if it doesn't get going in the first place, or if somebody has a turn 4/5 kill deck, you're in trouble. But, it works. I mean, you're going to have an Eldrazi out on like turn 6. I mean, it's just that good. Well, actually, the more Eldrazi specific ones are faster. This might get out an Eldrazi on like turn 8. But in the meantime, you're going to cause them absolute hell, and they won't even know what to sideboard against because your deck wins a different way every time. I just love it because like you're going to swing for 100, and that's just fun. That's fun to me. Now, the other big deck, I mean, just look up Relentless Red and then upgrade it. Simple as that. There's a bunch of Exerters. There's a bunch of like crazy better hasters. It's a win on turn 5 deck. You just hit them and hit them and hit them. And then there's a second version, instead of just red, ambush, boost, trample, double strike, whatever, where you just come at them, and try to beat them as quickly as possible. You could slow down a little bit, realize that a lot of people are playing Control, and do a Blood Mist deck. There's no way to go fetch an enchantment that I know of in Standard right now, like to literally just go get it out of your deck. Closest you can get is the highest scry amount, which is Contingency Plan, but it's not worth adding blue. It really isn't. Even with Anticipate and Glimmer, it's still not worth it. But what you want to do is basically get out Blood Mist as quickly as possible, have a couple natural double strikers, have a couple of the little tiny, 1/1s or whatever that can grant haste to another creature, or I think there's a couple enchantments that do it. Either way, you want every single creature to either have haste or be able to have haste when you drop it in. Once you get a Blood Mist, it just doesn't matter. You drop in a 4/1 creature, we'll say, that gets bigger every time it hits. That's a thing. And then, you granted haste, swing with it. Now it has double strike. Also, I have a 1-cost boost spell. Boom, they're dead, just like that. There's natural double strikers. There's the best red boost I've ever seen. There's like a +4 trample card, +3/+1 trample card, +3/+1 scry. No, that's not legal anymore. I don't remember what that other one does. +3/+1 in trample, I think. I don't know. Just look up Relentless Red. It's practically the same damn deck. It really, 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 really works. So that's just like, I'm a dumb ape with a machine gun and I'm coming in firing and I'm just not going to stop. It's classic red wins. So the whole idea is they're probably not going to blow up Blood Mist, and if you get 2 out, that's funny. And honestly, the Hazoret's Favor is not bad either. I mean, +2, and then, okay, maybe also double strike, or maybe it already is double strike, or, whatever. There's the energy double striker. There's like another double striker or 2 from Amonkhet. You'd probably be able to get something going. I mean, there's the 1/3 pumpable wolf with natural haste and the 3/3 for 3 with haste. It looks like a fun deck. I probably won't build it because I just don't like decks like that, but I do recognize it's powerful, and Lucky runs something like it, and he is just dominating with it. Oh, and that's before the Amonkhet upgrades. So the first deck, probably tomorrow if I finish it, that I'm going to post is my green super draw deck, where you just like cast a creature, draw. You have 50 mana, cast a creature, draw, cast a creature, draw, and just repeat it. And almost every time I win with like 10 cards left in my library. I just think stuff like that is so funny. Like, it's so shaky. It's not very disruptible, but it's very like, it might not get going in the first place. Also, the deck tries to do so much like stalling and combos and landfall. You're going to find yourself like, oh man, I got all this land and no landfall. But it does work and it is fun. It's just not that powerful. But I think you could sweep an F&M with it. It's not weak. But if you're looking for the cheapest out of all these ideas, I mean, Black Resurrection, Eldrazi, they both use expensive Eldrazi's. I mean, Ulamog's not free. Void Winnower either. Bane practically is. Some of the other Breaker of Armies and stuff, those are nothing. I mean, the Desolation Twin, come on. I'm also working on a free caster deck. It's probably gonna be called BG because it's both blue-green, which I know, yeah, B is black, shut up. It's also gonna be Broken Garbage. So, a little bit of a play on words, a little bit of a stretch, but it's just going to be like every free cast card ever. And it's broken garbage. I will attest to that. But the cheapest for sure, absolutely the red deck. I mean, the thing's literally like $11.50 to build. Also, White Flyers Exert, if you don't count Gisela, which, I mean, honestly, just get your hands on a Gisela, it would work. You could probably live with 1 or 2 or 3 copies of her instead of 4, but the deck would be noticeably weaker without her. But you could make it faster. I mean, she does cost 4, so, you know, and like I said, always watching, $5 a copy, that's a little rough. But that deck would be second place price-wise. So if you're looking for cheap but power, that would be it. Those two for sure. So if you have any good deck archetypes that you're working on personally, leave them down in the comments section because that would be awesome. And as always, I'll see you guys next video.